successfully negotiate an agreement, therefore we're going to override and say they, basically, the wind company go ahead and do what they want, complying with the state rules, but no special accommodations for the local municipality. That went to court, and then it was settled before it was really fully tested. So, yes, it would add everybody's legal bill, nothing else. It can happen. Again, I don't think it would happen as quickly as anybody wants in terms of having something like that resolved. It would add expense and complication, and if Barry Lynch thought it would speed things up, I suspect we already had that motion before the state is clearly frustrated that they don't have the agreement they could move forward with. So,
Yeah, and just to clarify that, I mean, our intent is to reach an agreement with the town. And, you know, that is our intent. And we want to do this. We have offered this. You know, Seth can tell you, you can read some of my papers that I've submitted in this proceeding. I personally think that what we've agreed to in the town, we didn't have to. We aren't there. We've added some roads and changed some roads. But aside from that, we already have an agreement in place with the town. It's a little bit different than the situation that Seth's talking about. And in that case, they didn't have an agreement. We have a road use agreement with the town. In my opinion, folks are trying to renegotiate that road use agreement. And we've been accommodating to those requests and have offered the town an amendment to that road use agreement. That's a back and forth.
And there has been significant back and forth, and I think no one's going to dispute there's been significant progress made. We haven't gotten to the finish line. I understand there's plenty of frustration about that. Keep things under pressure.
So another thing to consider too in regards to that, you know, months ago, they wanted to bond all these different roads, and we said we didn't want them only on the roads they were going to use. They cut it down until we discussed it on the 13th, and because the lower part of Jones Road needed work and Condorman, all of a sudden now they took them off because why? It's going to cost money. Before they had to have them. They had to have Jones Road and Condorman, and now because it has to, additional money has to be done to repair those roads.
Again, we're happy to have these conversations. If every concession we make is thrown back into our face as if we're not being cooperative, it becomes incredibly difficult to have these conversations. We have put our request to the town, I think, is to use the resources the town has available to them and let's get this done. I don't think any of us want to be litigating this either on a contract basis or in front of the siting board. I think our intent here is to reach an agreement with the town so that we can move forward as a together.
Can you guys sit down and negotiate?
We've tried.
That's what I thought.
That's what we thought Wendell was here for.
That's
We've
what I
got
thought
these.
the last month.
We've got these things, and we're willing to say, let's just put a bow on it. And when Wendell gives the sign off and Seth gives the sign off, that's it.
And it is different than a contract negotiation between two businesses. At the end of the day, there's an owner or a president of the business says, that's good enough for me, sign it. Whatever's negotiated has to come back to the board for final approval. And that's part of the process we've been going through. And if there's somebody at Barry Winds who I think has enough authority, is if they consult with whoever else needs to be approved, if they can do that, with the town, it's just a little bit more involved because it takes a vote of the majority of the board to have a final agreement. So yeah, we can negotiate, and we have, Jessica may remember more than I do on that, whether it was this one or if it was a different, but related. The board said, "No, we're not ready to approve that yet." Again, there were good reasons for it. Part of it was we needed to get Wendell's feedback on that. We've gotten Wendell's feedback. That's being taken into account. I haven't seen 100% correlation or congruence with Wendell's questions and recommendations, but it's close. Yeah.
Close enough to sign off on it and let it go? I mean, we keep hearing that, oh, we're close, but we're not. I mean, and I hate to be the negative Nancy in the room, but like, most people don't hire a tax accountant to give them advice and then not take the advice, right? You guys hired this firm to let Jason know what he needs to do. He's agreeing to it.
He's not agreeing to everything that the firm wants to do.
I'm gonna be close.
We're
I'm
still
checking right now.
moving through stuff.
Yeah.
I just feel like if we push this back another month, then realistically what you're doing is pushing this project back a year.
What you're
Because the
saying,
clearing only
I'm gonna
has,
disagree with you, because what you're saying is you don't know the whole picture. This town approved 500-foot windmills. When they said 650, end of the story, that's when this town changed. And you have nothing to do with that. You don't live here and you don't know that part. And then they've been fishing around and fishing around and fishing around and fishing around and making stuff up and so on and so forth. But yes, I will agree, we have made progress. I do disagree that we are not ready to move on, plain and simple. And we spent an hour, and I'm saying no vote, but I'm saying we're not ready to move on. That's me. I can't hear more. But don't forget, I mean, it's our town. It's not your town. You don't have to live here. You don't even live near them. So keep that in mind.
I would choose to if I could.
Lily, can you buy one of our homes?
I would absolutely love to. We've actually looked at one down the
Can I
road.
get that in writing?
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, that,
I'll give you a price on mine.
laugh a lot. There's a house over there that my wife wants for the summer, so.
But I think this is enough for tonight. I mean, we're not getting anywhere else, and,
And,
We're just spinning the wheels.
yeah, I mean, if someone wants to make a motion, you can do that.
Do executive session, take 30.
Yeah, we gotta do executive session.
And if there's a motion to vote on it, supervisors should entertain it.
And what was that you said you could approve it with,
You could approve it with basically a contingency or conditioned upon final language being approved and acceptable to Wendell and town council. And that's basically up to the supervisor, the acting supervisor to say, town attorney, that it's specified, the board specified, consultant has said that it meets the requirements and it meets those concerns, and then the supervisor would sign off on it, having been offered that sort of on that condition by the board. It's a little bit, it's not that uncommon. It's a little bit, creates a little bit of uncertainty, and if you have disagreement over that could be an issue. But if you say, if the supervisor gets the confirmation from, writing from council and Wendell that, yes, it's addressed all the concerns we have. Then this agreement, plus any additions needed for that, will be approved. The supervisor could then sign off on it. So it's basically a conditional approval specifying what that condition is. There's a little more pressure for Emily, or I guess if you're not available, Cindy could be, as the deputy supervisor, the one doing that. Again, just like everything else, it takes a majority of the board.
So does that give them the authority to start now, or does it have to wait until your approval?
It would have to wait, so it wouldn't take effect until that's done. What they're asking for, and what we like about that is that it doesn't require another meeting.
That's right, yeah.
But that's.
Can you guys sit down and negotiate?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the intent.
We
That's
could-
the intent is to have this discussion with them, come to the terms and agreement,
And have it done?
and have it done.
You know, basically.
That's what I imagine was gonna go on this last 30 days. It did not.
I mean, Wendell has been very responsive to my discussions with them.
Yeah.
So if the town has to still come back and approve the final, then why don't we just wait until we get all the language straightened out? I'll call Rick Hake from Wendell tomorrow and talk about how he interpreted what he sent today. Again, we didn't get it till 4:30, so I really haven't had a time to look it over too much. But if it's gotta take one more month to approve this, then let's just go ahead and wait till we get everything settled in writing, and then it's done.
I don't think it would take another month the way Seth is laying this out, correct, Seth?
Not necessarily.
Right.
It could.
I would suspect we would have something by the end of the week.
I heard that last one.
Yeah. And no more special meetings, because Emily will be gone.
Well,
That's right.
that's, I
Yeah.
mean,
So, I
we're
mean-
trying to move this process along and make it quick and less painful for you guys as well. You've hired Wendell now, we've been talking with them. You know, we've gotten this report in the middle of holidays, we've responded quickly. I think there's a few more minor issues to iron out on the language, without having to call another special meeting of the town or wait and delay another month.
I'm okay with signing off on it once Tom's happy and everyone's happy. But he will be in the
So, you could make that a condition too. For the more people you have in it, the essentially gives veto power.
Yeah, Tom has, the road use agreement is all highway superintendent. They make all the decisions, they have to deal with it all.
Tom's the one who has to live with the manager roads. But it is ultimately the board's decision, so that's the question. Whatever agreement you give Tom, Ken has to live with, but he's the one who gets to interpret how is it being done.
Yeah, but Tom has the yay or nay, and before I would sign it.
How it works.
But you gotta make sure that that's happening.
If Emily's out, Cindy maybe the one here to pick up.
Sounds like no one wants to do it. I'll make a motion to approve it with contingencies.
I'll second it.
What are the contingencies? Let's make them very
So
clear.
Wendell and
It needs to be specified, approval by Wendell,
Trying.
approval, if you want me to sign off on approval, the legal validity of it, and protection of the specified town's interest, you can do that. You've also mentioned, and maybe this is the other piece, approval by Tom that the specific concerns he has are addressed.
Hey Seth Hilton, I've got a quick question. Can you tell me what your number one fiduciary responsibility is at being a board member?
What's that?
Can you tell me what your number one fiduciary responsibility is as a board member?
I came here as a board member to help the town, work with the town.
But I'm asking you if you know what your fiduciary responsibility is as an elected official.
To represent the town.
No.
You don't really need to answer that.
It's to protect the people. And you've been so blatant about this, you know, in favor of the windmills. And I think it optically, when I come out a couple meetings back and you were outside talking with the windmill attorney, probably wasn't legal, but it certainly didn't look good. I don't know what you had to talk to outside the town
I don't
when
believe I've ever
when it could have been brought up here
I don't know if
inside.
we've ever talked, so.
I don't
Alright, guys,
believe-
let's stay focused here. So, we have a
I am
motion
trying
on
to
the
protect
floor.
the town, because if the state pushes this through, we're gonna lose. We're
Well, that's a
losing.
lot of ifs.
We're paying lawyers, we're just constantly paying lawyers, no offense,
I'm not,
but we're just
Alright,
pissing money away.
Let's stay focused.
That's something that's gonna happen regardless.
We have a motion on the table. So, Attorney Pullen, Wendell, and Tom all have to give their blessing, and then Cindy or I could sign the agreement. Is that what we're doing?
That sounds like the motion.
time frame.
The timeframe really,
Well, unless you basically say if it can't be, if that's not confirmed within a certain amount of time,
well, then
then
we'll do the next meeting.
then the approval, lapses, I guess. You could put a limit on it like that.
Or the next meeting with it.
I mean, if we don't, I would say this, if,
And it's always.
this might give Jason a heart attack,
That's
but
the
if we
problem.
didn't have, if
This
we
is-
didn't come to an agreement within 90 days, we've passed the point of being able to reach an
90
agreement.
days?
No, I'm just saying, like, if you guys wanted to put, in order to have,
90
days.
in order to have the ability for Cindy or Emily to sign and not need to call another meeting or special meeting,
Okay.
I just, if you wanted to put parameters on that, I would say 90 days would be okay.
90 days, uh,
But, again, if we reach 90 days, we're probably talking different talks at that point anyway, but.
Yeah, we're done.
As an outside limit, I mean, I don't see a problem with that unless the board actually wants to make it shorter.
So, moving forward, Tom, Attorney Pullen, and Wendell are gonna meet and discuss, and then come back to Barron with their requests. And you guys will figure something out.
We will address the latest proposal, identify additions that the town would need to make that acceptable. And if that can be achieved, then that would be communicated to the whole board, but
Yeah.
but we
It's
specifically,
realistic.
yeah.
Everybody, Tom, you okay with that?
If that's what you wanna do, it's your decision. I still say we should wait until you get everything in writing.
Well, you're gonna have all the time to get everything ready.
Yeah, you don't have to say
Then why
yes
go
if
ahead
you
and
don't
approve
like
it tonight if you gotta come back and approve it anyway? Wait until everything's done.
You guys are gonna negotiate and get everything in writing, so we don't have to come back to another meeting to approve it. That's all we're doing right now.
You still have the power, sir. If you don't like anything, you don't even gotta sign off on it.
You're right into the condition of it. But it just, after you agree to whatever, one or the two of us can sign off on it and not have to wait for another meeting, is what they wanna do. And you have 90 days to do it.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, it expires.
We'll have to come back to the board after 90 days, but, you know, the hope is that we have this by the end of the week.
If we get to 90 days.
You're gonna
I'll be
give
shocked
90
if we're
days?
not-
I'm saying this 90-day, just so I'm clear, the 90-day provision is so that we don't have to come back here in a couple of weeks
Do I have
if we
this right?
are still negotiating. But
Conditional approval between
if we get
Seth,
past
Tom, and Wendell.
2 weeks
to
and it's
agree
clear
with
that these aren't going anywhere,
proposal,
it's
they
gonna
all
be a different
give
ball of wax.
their approval and then document signed within 90 days.
So,